We've given our men or women the hormones that are necessary to help improve upon sleep. They're definitely doing better. But hey, look, life is crazy and things happen, and maybe they just need a little extra oomph. Okay, maybe they need a little more firepower. Absolutely, melatonin. Again, I know I was just talking about how melatonin isn't like the best sleep hormone, but it can and should be used. Again, I have all the dosing very clearly laid out for men and women when it comes to melatonin. Another common misconception is that melatonin should be dosed like really, 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 really low. That's not true. It can be dosed at very high levels. In fact, melatonin does not turn off your melatonin production in your body. Literally every single cell in your body produces melatonin, and it has effects on the mitochondria and all this stuff. So you're not going to overwhelm anything with more melatonin. I mean, there are people megadosing melatonin at 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams, several hundred milligrams. We saw the use of that again, ironically, in COVID, because it was really potent as far as a immunomodulator in many ways and an anti-inflammatory. So melatonin, can that be added? Absolutely. And we should stack that. So again, melatonin helps, especially on the sleep latency side. Are there other things that can improve sleep? There are a couple things that I love. One is really cheap and one is really expensive. So let me talk about the super expensive one first. L-theanine. I actually have a bottle. I don't know why I have this bottle sitting here. I was probably showing it to a patient. If you can see that, L-theanine. It's probably not going to focus back there. Anyways, if you were watching me, I just held up a bottle of L-theanine. It's expensive as hell, man. L-theanine is super, super, super expensive, but my gosh, does it work really, really well. L-theanine, again, much like progesterone and allopregnanolone in particular, acts on the GABA receptors. So does L-theanine, and it works on them beautifully. It helps calm the central nervous system. The great thing about L-theanine from like a daytime perspective is that it doesn't make you feel unbelievably groggy. In fact, what we've seen is if you give L-theanine to, say, college kiddos before an exam, they'll do really, really well in that exam because it just calms their central nervous system down a little bit without making it overwhelming. And it doesn't, knock them out like a Benadryl would or something like that. So I love L-theanine. It's just really expensive, and it's expensive especially because you got to take usually a lot more than what's suggested. So on this bottle, for example, one capsule has 200 milligrams of L-theanine. That's kind of a low dose for a lot of people. Some smaller men and women likely could get away with that and maybe have some benefit. But I have a lot of guys who, and myself included, need 400 to 800 milligrams of L-theanine just to honestly even notice the effects. And by the way, this bottle only has 60 capsules. So you'll just go through it really quickly. So I like to use L-theanine for especially if I'm traveling and I just really need a solid night's sleep or two. Maybe I'm speaking at a conference or something like that. I will absolutely utilize L-theanine in those situations because I'm going to stack as much as I can to help improve my sleep. So I'll use melatonin. I might use some L-theanine, but if I couldn't use L-theanine or I just didn't have the finances for it, maybe one of your patients saying, I can't afford all this stuff. That's totally reasonable. Here is my go-to. In my opinion, it is one of the best ever, the creme de la creme. Glycine. Good old-fashioned glycine. Again, it's just an amino acid. Super cheap. I'm talking for a bottle, like a big old bottle of it. It costs probably around 20 or 30 bucks. That's probably, I don't know, that could be 3 months worth of medicine, so to speak, in there of the glycine. Glycine, again, it's an amino acid. And it comes typically as a powdered form. So again, this is one of maybe the cons of glycine. You can get it in capsules, but you got to take a freaking ton of them. If it comes in a powdered form, that is where the cost effectiveness comes in. It tastes fine. It tastes like table sugar. And honestly, it's this consistency of table. It looks like granulated table sugar, kind of gritty. And it literally looks and tastes like it's very sweet. It's practically acaloric, meaning it's not like literally sugar. It's not going to destroy your blood sugars or anything like that. But you can take just a heaping teaspoon which is relatively speaking around 3 grams, a good solid teaspoon, and mix it in a little bit of water, whatever you like, juice, tea, things like that. And it dissolves. It'll dissolve kind of slowly in cold water. It usually really won't. If you dissolve it in like a warm tea, it dissolves beautifully. You knock that back. At least I always tell my patients 30 minutes to 60 minutes before bed, right? I want to initiate that sense of calm and relaxation, like, again, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. So you're like in that state of calm relaxation when you're hitting the pillow, not you take it 3 seconds before bed and now it's going to take 30 minutes to kick in and you're going to start thinking of things and it's just going to derail you. So if especially sleep is difficult for you, take it earlier. But glycine has been shown in many, many, many studies at this point to absolutely enhance the quality of sleep. It seems to, we're sleep is a weird thing because we don't actually really understand it that well, but it seems to induce deeper levels of sleep, right? It's allowing you to hit the cycles better, REM cycle and deep, light, deep, whatever REM cycles you're kind of hitting throughout the nighttime period. Glycine is incredible at allowing you to get through all those cycles. And what people will report is that when they wake up, they have a better, more restful sleep. The quality is better, and it's very clear and it's very obvious to them, which is really exciting. And you can just up that dose as much as you want, of course. So it's just an amino acid. You're not going to kill yourself. If 1 teaspoon doesn't work, try 2. If 2 doesn't work, try 3. Most people, the vast majority of my male and females who take glycine, 1 teaspoon is plenty. I will warn them and say you'll have some very vivid dreams because you're just going to have these really deep sleeps, which is cool. So you also know it's working. But glycine, again, is so cost effective. It's super, super easy to take. Traveling with it is a pain. That would be a time where I would opt for capsules. But, otherwise, if it's just a home routine thing, it's fantastic. And so, again, your routine could be something like, whether you're male or female, taking your progesterone, with your melatonin and your glycine. That is a huge, very powerful sleep stack for most people. And again, it avoids some of the stuff that also could work. Okay. So there's CBD and CBN, which is the cannabinoids of marijuana or cannabis or hemp, for example, we can process through those things. But again, those are very expensive. I don't feel like they work as well as this stuff does. THC is oftentimes used for sleep. And again, I'm not opposed to a little bit of THC, especially if it's paired with some CBD, because it kind of counteracts a lot of the psychoactive effects. But THC is a bit like alcohol. Can it induce sleepiness? Yes. But do you get restful sleep with THC use or with alcohol use? No, you don't. So it's a little bit like an Ambien, right? Will it put you in a zombie-like state? Sure. Is it optimal for you in terms of your overall health outcomes? Not really. So I'd much rather play my chips on the table when it comes to sleep on hormones first, and then any secondary things that we could add in there. And I think there's just the nutraceuticals, including melatonin, which is hormones, are fantastic. And I think that should be really the way we go about sleep for 99% of our patients, be they female or male. So I hope this has been helpful, guys. As always, when you're thinking about sleep, and you're an HRT nerd, think about it through the lens of HRT. How could I optimize this potentially with the use of hormones, first and foremost? And then what are other things I could potentially add in here that are simple, readily available, cost effective, and they're only going to add to the benefits of hormones at large, which are things like, again, glycine and or L-theanine. So I hope this has been helpful, guys. Again, if you're new to the channel and the podcast, welcome. I'm so thankful that you're listening. Please don't forget that I have a course. It's called HRT University. And if you visit hrtuniversity.com, you can learn all about it. It's incredible. We help providers transform the way they think about hormones. We make it exciting. We want you to treat patients with hormones. We need you to. Our community and our world relies on you helping these people live long and healthy lives and lives full of meaning and purpose. And I think hormones do that better than just about anything else. So please check out hrtuniversity.com. I have a daily email. I literally write it Monday through Friday, just me, no ChatGPT. It's in the links under the show notes. All this stuff will be in the links under the show notes. So if you click on that, it's free. You can hop in there and I write killer articles. I try to provide as much value as possible to you Monday through Friday, learning about HRT and business stuff and just medicine at large. Cool stuff that goes on in our world today. And then last but not least, I also have a Facebook group, which is under Nico's HRT University. If you search that in Facebook, and again, if you look at the show notes here, you'll find that as well. Join us. It's a great place to hang out for the most part and just kind of get your feet wet in terms of hormones and see what other providers across the country are doing and honestly across the world. We got people in there from Australia and Canada and all kinds of different places. So it's a great place to, again, kind of network and meet up. And we share, again, a lot of our podcasts and daily emails and things like that in there too. Thank you so much for checking out this clip and tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you really liked it, I definitely recommend that you click here to watch the whole entire video where I go into much more detail. Thank you again for joining, and I'll see you there.